some of will be on the mind of some of these Chinese regulators, possibly talked about in this meeting with U.S. regulators. All right, overnight markets in Asia traded a little bit mixed, or closed a little bit mixed, I should say. Shanghai Composite down 0.26%, the Nikkei up 0.89%, and the Hang Seng Index up 0.22%. Stocks in Europe trading higher this morning. The FTSE's up 0.04%, DAX up 0.49%, and the CAC up 1.33%. The U.S. dollar index up marginally, 97.33. VIX trading up about 1.25%, 1496 in the VIX, and the yield on the 10-year Treasury note 4.041%. I'll tell you what, folks, when we drop that question form for group coaching in the chat later on, ask your questions about the rollover. What are your questions about rollover? What are you confused about? And Hogue and I will cover it later this afternoon. All right, back to you guys.
Thanks, JD. Hogue, let's take a look at this S&P chart. What are we seeing over there besides all-time highs?
All right. Yep. Air horns, or the foghorn, as I call it. All right. On the weekly, I always start the Monday and Fridays on the weekly charts, just because part of context is understanding the context of the longer time frames, and we are continuing to one time frame higher on the weekly chart. 66.35 is only 29 points away. That's been weekly kickoff high for a couple of weeks now, and I've been patiently waiting for the opportunity to see price get to that level. It's looking more and more like a higher probability of that coming into play at some point. So again, the weekly chart, higher highs, higher
Testing,
lows.
1, 2, 3.
Overall, very strong week last week after 3 weeks of kerfuffling or indecision in the equities markets. Last week saw the market, so you had buyers coming back in, and we saw a breakout above this area of short time frame balance, if you want to call it that, and it's off to the races. I'm going to take a look down to the daily chart now. So this was those kind of 3 weeks, and it was still, higher highs and higher lows overall. It looks, I think, better on the daily chart than it did on the weekly chart. However, last week, we saw buyers coming back into this market. Now, it is rollover. Rollover has a tendency for range-bound trade, and so far our rollers, as I call them, the longer time frame traders that have thousands of contracts in the September contract, have to move those into the December contract if they want to maintain those positions, much prefer range-bound trade. Friday, we talked about the fact that if it's a range